Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a very special video. If you've been following me for a while, you know I have an email address. I don't think I really post it in my video descriptions anymore because I don't check it that often. And now I usually tend to direct people to Instagram. However, my email address is on some of my old videos, as well as, of course, my Instagram DMs being open. And I have been getting quite a few messages from older children, teenagers who are entering foster care. They're nervous, they're scared, and they want advice or words of encouragement. And because I have gotten multiple of these requests, I feel like there is a need for just a video that children and older teens, young adults who are entering foster care can search and just have access to. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, is making a video kind of directed at that population from a foster parent, advice that I can give, words of encouragement, things like that. But if you are a foster parent, a bio parent, former foster youth, current foster youth, anything like that, and you want to stick around and watch the video, please feel free to do so. If you are new here, my name is Anna Leonora. Together with my husband, Jason, we are foster and adoptive parents in real life. And here on my channel, From the Fosters, we do foster and adoptive parenting life together. And we raise awareness for the foster care system. So if any of that interests you, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. And while you are subscribing, while you're down there, don't forget to hit your post notification bell, set your notifications to all so that you won't miss when I post new videos like this, and so you can join my growing family, cyber family, here on YouTube. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you know I have been not making videos for the past couple weeks. It's only been a couple weeks. I have had longer breaks than this, but I will do another video another day, kind of explaining where my head is and what's been going on and what are some of the big upcoming changes in our life, and kind of direction that the channel is going to take a little bit. So I will do another video on that. This one is specifically for, again, children in foster care or entering foster care. Mostly it's not going to be the young children who are going to be finding this video, because many of them, if you're real young, don't have access to social media. So this is going to probably be for older children, teens, things like that. And I just want to start out by saying I am not every foster parent and I don't live in every state. And these are just from my experience, the advice I want to give and the words I want to share with you, just from one foster parent, from one person that's had interaction with the system. First of all, I know you're probably scared. Most of the people who reach out to me are terrified. They don't know what's going to happen to them. And rightfully so, right? To be taken away from your family and sent to who knows where to live with who knows who, and to have all these new rules imposed on you, potentially have to change schools, meet new friends. It's terrifying. And you have every right to be scared. You have every right to be frustrated. If you're being taken into foster care, there is usually good reason for that. So you may have feelings about the situation you were in previously. Some of the people who reach out to me are relieved that they're getting taken out of the situation they were in. And sometimes they may feel guilty that they feel relieved that they're being taken out of the situation they were in. All of those feelings are valid. Every feeling is valid. It's okay for you to be angry. It's okay for you to be frustrated. It's okay for you to be relieved. It's okay for you to even be happy or excited. It's okay for you to be sad. It's okay for you to be scared. All of these things are normal and all of them are okay. You are allowed to feel whatever you feel. I can't tell you exactly what to expect because everybody's situation is going to be different. It's going to depend on your state, whether you're going into a foster home, a group home, a kinship home. All of these things are going to make every situation unique. So I can't tell you what to expect, and I wish that I could, but I can't. The advice that I can give you, especially if you're going to a foster family, somebody that you do not know, obviously it's different if it's kinship and you know them. If you're going to a foster family you do not know, the advice that I can give you is attempt to communicate in the ways that you can. If your foster parents are being a little overbearing, they're asking you a lot of questions, trying to figure out what makes you comfortable, trying to get you involved in their family, trying to distract you, and that's not what you want or need, use your words and tell them that in the kindest way that you can. Like, hey, I'm not feeling that great and I really would love some space. Do you mind if I go hang out in my room alone for a bit to reflect or read or just have some time to myself? It's okay for you to have that. Foster parents are not mind readers, and we each have had our own experiences with children coming into our home. And maybe that sort of overbearing approach worked with children in the past. Or maybe it's the total opposite. They just want to leave you alone, let you get comfortable, let you adjust, let you come to them, because maybe that's what's worked for them in the past, but maybe you need more than that. In which case, again, communicate, use your words. Tell them, I would like to do more things with the family because I need some distraction. Or I'm hoping you'll allow me to watch a favorite movie because I need some distraction. Or would you maybe mind getting me a notebook so I can journal? Can we go play outside? I just need to be distracted from the thoughts in my head. Or I'd really like to get to know you guys, and I really hope that I can share with you some of my preferences and you can take that into account. Use your words as much as you can, and in the kindest way that you can. And the other piece of advice I can give you is, I know that there's a lot of feelings involved. Again, we already went over all the full range of feelings that you may be having, but I want to remind you that it is not your foster parents' fault that you are in foster care. They had no bearing on you coming into foster care. They probably did not even know you existed until they got the phone call asking if they would take you in. I know it's easy to blame them because they become the adult figure in your life, but they had no part in you coming into foster care. They are not the social workers. They're not your biological family. There's a whole process there that happens prior to you coming into care that your foster parents have no part of. So I know it's super easy to blame the foster parents and be angry at the foster parents and take it out on them, but please try to understand it is not their fault that you are in care. And truly, they are here just to try to help and make you comfortable and give you a place to stay and live in a soft landing pad for you for this period of time while you're in care, which, again, I can't give you any sort of idea how long that will be because it is different for every case. But most foster families have really good intentions. Not all of them do. Like every corner of the world, there's going to be bad people. And I hope and pray and wish for you that you do not wind up with one of those families. So try to go into it open-minded, because the majority of us really do have big hearts and good intentions and want to just help. And maybe they're going about it in a way that's uncomfortable for you, but I want you to learn to be your own advocate and speak up and say that. But you have to say it clearly, concisely, and without raising your voice. So, because once you start raising your voice, emotions start to heighten and then fights and conflict can happen. You know, I want you to practice and really learn to say, this is making me uncomfortable. Can we try a different approach? Or this is not my preference. Can we try something else? I know that's really hard because, again, you have a lot of emotions involved and you don't know these people and they may be getting on your nerves, but I promise they're just trying to help, and they may end up becoming your best friends. They may not, but they may. You got to give them a chance. The other thing that I want to stress is it is important to do therapy. I know people don't want to do therapy. Therapy is scary. It's work, but therapy helps. It really helps. and it gives you somebody to talk to who's not in the situation. They're not your foster parent, they're not your social worker, they're not your bio family, they're not your friends. It's somebody completely removed from the situation, a totally neutral third party who can help you with some emotion management skills, can help you kind of sort through some of the things you've been through, and give you some tools that you may not have currently to help you manage the situation that you're in. So if you can get into therapy, do it. I promise it helps. It may take a little while. It may take a couple sessions for you to become comfortable with your therapist. But I really recommend that for all children in foster care, especially the older ones, you know. And if you think that therapy is something that you would like to do, mention it to your foster parents. Say, hey, I really think that it could benefit me to get in with a therapist. Can you talk to my social worker about trying to make that happen? Or can I talk to my court-appointed special advocate, which is called different things in different states. So you'll have to find out what it's called in your state. It's either a court-appointed special advocate or CASA, C-A-S-A, or it's a guardian ad litem. In my state, it's a guardian ad litem, but in other states, it's a CASA. But this is somebody who is assigned to the case, who is specifically there to be your voice in court, to be the person who speaks up for you and what your wishes are and what your needs are. And as an older child, you should be able to vocalize that to them. The younger kids don't always know how to vocalize that or aren't able to vocalize that. So this special advocate has to spend a lot of time with the kid, see them in all these different situations to try to make those determinations for the child. But as an older child, you should feel comfortable speaking to them and saying, I think I need a therapist, or I want this, I don't want that. I'm comfortable with this, I'm not comfortable with that. And they're going to do whatever they can to fight for your wants and needs in court for you. So feel comfortable speaking to the court-appointed special advocate. These are volunteers. These are not people paid by the Department of Social Services or Child Protective Services. They are not paid to be there. They are there because they want to help children. And they are there assigned to your case for you. So I want you to become really comfortable and familiar with your special advocate and have conversations with them. If you want to have conversations with them in private, away from your bio family, away from your social worker, away from your foster family, feel comfortable asking for that. Like, hey, I would like to have a conversation with you in private. And if there's things that you want to keep private, let them know that. Now, there are things that they are going to be required to report. If you disclose ABUSE or other things that have happened to you that are illegal, somebody committed a crime against you, and you tell them that, they are going to have to report that because that is what's in your best interest, even though it may not feel that way. They don't necessarily have to tell anybody that you said that. The way that they can report it, they have ways to do it that would protect you. But if you say, you know, I'm not really feeling that comfortable with my foster family right now, I would prefer if you don't tell them because I don't want to make them angry, but can you talk to my social worker about maybe finding me new placement? Well, they can do that. They can talk to your social worker about maybe finding you new placement and say, hey, child X really isn't comfortable with their foster family knowing that they want new placement right now. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there, when we find them new placement. You know, things like that. I want you to become comfortable talking to your special advocate because they are there for you. And I know there's going to be a lot of people coming in, social workers, advocates, foster parents, therapists. There's going to be a lot of people coming in and out of this picture. But I want you to become really familiar with that one. Your special advocate, again, it's either a court-appointed special advocate, a CASA, or a GAL, a guardian ad litem. They will introduce themselves to you once they are assigned to your case, and they will try to have conversations with you, get to know you, figure out what your preferences are. So please feel comfortable speaking to them. I also want you to give your social worker a break. I know the social worker may seem like the bad guy, or they may seem like your savior. It really depends on the situation you were in and how you feel about being removed from that situation. But at the end of the day, the social worker is trying to do what's in your best interest. And I know it may not always seem that way. It may not always feel that way. but they're trying. They're trying their hardest. And I promise you, they went into this line of work because they want to help children. If you are very uncomfortable with your social worker, I want you to tell your court-appointed special advocate or your guardian ad litem. I want you to tell your foster parent. I want you to tell the people who are there to be your advocates so that they can try to help get you a new social worker. If you're uncomfortable with your foster parents, I want you to tell your court-appointed special advocate or your guardian ad litem or your social worker so that they can try to find you a new foster family. I want you to start learning to use your voice. That may not be something that you've been allowed to do or have had to do in your life, and that may be very hard for you, which again is something that therapy can help you with, can give you some tools to work on that. But it's a life skill, and it's a skill you're going to need for forever. So the best time to start working on it is now. And I know that this is a really tumultuous time. But you've got to learn to communicate your thoughts, needs, feelings, emotions, wants, desires, things you don't want, things you're afraid of. You got to learn to communicate them. I want you to, and again, this is something you can learn in therapy. I keep circling back to that, but I want you to find an emotional outlet, because you're going to have a lot of emotions and your emotions are going to cycle. They're going to change. You may think you're in a really good place and then something's going to come up and you're going to have a really big emotional reaction again. It happens all the time in foster care because it is such a roller coaster. You've got to find a healthy way to have an outlet for those emotions. Hitting, screaming, yelling, name calling, trying to hurt people, trying to hurt yourself. These are not healthy ways of expressing emotions. And they may be the only ways that have been modeled to you, or the only ways that you're aware of, but there are so many other ways, and it takes conscious effort to change that. Some healthier ways are deep breathing. Breathe in for a count of 7, hold it for a count of 4, out for a count of 7, and just keep doing that over and over again. Meditation, you can find, if you're here on YouTube, you can find free meditations on YouTube. Journaling, writing your emotions out, getting them out on paper, talking to somebody, a friend, a therapist, your special advocate, even potentially your foster parents, talking about it. Maybe you need a physical release. Punch a pillow on your bed. That's not going to hurt anybody else. It's not going to hurt you. Maybe do some jumping jacks or push-ups, or go running around the block, pick up running, swimming, or any other sport really. Like maybe you're a sport person and you want to pick up sports. And again, if you haven't done sports before, or if you want to continue sports or whatever, make sure you're communicating that to your advocate and your foster parents and your social worker, and just keep pushing for the things that you want and need. Maybe you are the kind of person who wants to play music and dance around your room to get energy out. Maybe that's something that your foster family is okay with you playing loud music with the door closed. Maybe they'd be more comfortable buying you some headphones so that just you can hear it and the music isn't disturbing the rest of the household. There are so many ways to get your emotions out that don't hurt anybody else and don't hurt you, but they allow your body to move that energy, and they allow your mind to process that energy. So these are just a couple tips, but again, a therapist really can help you with that. I think those are kind of my biggest ones is I know you're going to have all these emotions. Don't try to suppress the emotions. Don't try to shame yourself for having the emotions. You are allowed to have the emotions. You should be having the emotions. Quite frankly, they're all normal. You're allowed to be scared and nervous. You are allowed to ask questions. If there's something you want to know, ask. I cannot promise you that you will get an answer, and I cannot promise you that you will get an answer you like. You may have some foster families or social workers or advocates who are very frank and open and honest with you and will tell you the truth, and it may not be something you want to hear. You may have other ones who would prefer to talk to the social worker before they answer certain questions for you, in which case they may say, I can't answer that right now, but I will find out and get back to you. Things like that. So you may get an answer, you may not, but it is okay for you to ask. It doesn't hurt to try. So ask questions if you want to know. If you don't want to know, don't ask the questions. But ask questions, Learn to communicate, especially with your foster family, if there is a type of food that would really make you feel more comfortable to have in the house, if there's a type of music you want to listen to, if there's a TV show you really don't want to miss, if there's a movie you want to see, if there's a sport you want to be in, if you feel like you want or need more communication with your bio family or less, let people know. I can't promise it will happen, but they can try for you. But they're not going to try for you if they don't know that that's something you want. They have to know what you're thinking. And be comfortable and okay communicating if you need space. It's okay to say, I need a little bit of space right now. Can I please go sit in my room and just think some things out, and I will come back out when I'm ready? It's okay to ask for that, and it's okay to say that. But foster parents are not mind readers. We don't have the privilege of having known you your whole life. So we don't know about your little idiosyncrasies and your quirks and the things you like and don't like. We don't know any of that. We don't know traditions that you may have had with your bio family that you want to continue. Maybe your bio family gets you McDonald's Happy Meal every Friday night, and that's like a little tradition you have, and that's something you'd like to continue doing. We can't know that if you don't tell us that. So it's hard and it's work, and you're going to have a lot of emotions, and it's not always going to be a pretty easy ride. But I want you to know from a foster parent that we are here because we want to help. Truly, the only reason we are here is for you. And for the most part, for most foster families, the only reason we're here is for you. And we take a lot of flack. We get a lot of anger directed at us from bio families, from foster children, from social workers. We take a lot of flack from all angles. We are used to it. It is part of being a foster parent, but try to have grace with your foster parent. If you're truly not getting along with your foster parent, you've tried to communicate and work it out with them, or they're really being very horrible to you, you need to tell your social worker, you need to tell your court-appointed special advocate, and you need to request a placement change, because nobody's going to know if you don't tell them. But if your foster parents are trying, just maybe not doing the things that you like, but they're trying, communicate with them. Tell them what you want. Tell them what you need. And they will do what they can to accommodate that. We're not always going to be able, I have had foster children tell me that they wanted to do something that was several $100s. Well, I can't just drop several $100s. I've got other kids. I've got a house to pay bills on. It's not always going to happen that we can give you everything you want. But we can try. I can buy your favorite foods to have in the house. I can make sure that, we're allowing you time on the TV to watch a favorite show that comes on once a week, like the new episodes, or maybe you have a favorite movie around Christmas time you want to see. I can absolutely make that happen. But I have to know, and I can't read your mind. So I just want to say that I know it sucks, and I'm so sorry that you're in this situation. I speak for the majority of people that work with the foster care system, foster parents, special advocates, social workers, when I say that we wish no child needed foster care. But that's not a reality. And so we are here for the ones that do. And I want you to try to remember that none of this is your fault. This is due to adults in your life maybe failing you, or maybe having their own issues that they need help working out. But that's not your fault. None of this is your fault. And those of us that are there in the foster care system are really going to do what we can to help, but you have to help us help you. And we know that it's going to be hard, and we know that it sucks, and we are perfectly fine with you having your feelings and your emotions, because that's to be expected. But you're going to have to do some work. I want you to do the work to figure out the best ways to manage your emotions, the best ways to get your physical releases out, and work on communicating and advocating for yourself. All of these things can be taught to you or cultivated with you through therapy. So if you are offered therapy, I would accept it. If you are not offered therapy and you think you want therapy, ask for it. I think everybody should have therapy, not just foster youth. I think all people should have therapy at some point in their life because you really can learn a lot. And just know that this will pass. I can't promise you everything is going to be okay because I cannot tell you the future. And again, every case is different. But I can tell you that this is a season in your life and it will pass. At some point, it will pass. And I want you to use it as fuel to make you stronger and to help give you perspective on the things that you want out of your life when you're an adult and how you want to treat others and be treated by others. But in the meantime, I want you to know that it will pass. It is okay to feel whatever you're feeling. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for the things that you want and need. It's okay to ask that people stop doing things that you don't like or get rid of things that you don't want or need. It's okay to ask for these things. And I cannot promise you you're going to get everything you ask for. But the more you communicate, especially with your foster parents, your advocates, your social workers, the more they're going to be able to accommodate to you and try to make things set up in a way. It's not going to fix everything, but it might make you more comfortable. It might allow you to have some positive experiences. And I want you to try to keep an open mind about that. And I want you to try to remember that this situation is not your foster parents' fault. And while they're an easy target, totally get that, it's not their fault and they really are there for you. But communicate with them if you need them to be doing something different for you. That's okay. And it's a good life skill to have. This video has gotten pretty long, so I'm going to stop there. But as always, my Instagram DMs are open. I'm at From the Fosters on Instagram. I do have the email address, but I really don't check it that much. So I don't want to keep giving it out. If you do email me, I will get it eventually. I just don't check it very often. So if you don't hear back from me right away, it'll come at some point. But I do get my Instagram DMs more frequently. I also have obviously my comments down in my YouTube section down below. If you're a foster parent, a social worker, guardian ad litem, former foster youth, anything like that, and you have other pieces of advice, words of encouragement, things like that, I want you to leave them down below so that this can kind of be a landing spot for people who have these questions or are concerned and are seeking that kind of information or that kind of comfort. Just leave them in the comments down below. Anything overly negative. Now, if you're a former foster youth and you have some negative experiences and you want to give advice on how to avoid those or on how to handle those, you're welcome to leave them down below. But if you leave just straight negativity, I'm probably going to remove it because I really want this post to be encouraging and helpful and not bashing on any one party in this. I don't want anyone bashing bio families. I don't want anyone bashing social workers, advocates, foster youth, foster parents. This is not a bashing session. There are going to be bad people in every area of the world, but this video is under the assumption and the knowledge that most people involved in the foster care system really are trying their hardest and really are here to be advocates for children. And we really want to do right by you in the ways that we can. Just know your foster parents have to work under a lot of rules. They're not your biological parents. They cannot just make decisions for you. In a lot of cases, they can't just go take you to get a haircut. If you want a haircut, they have to talk to the social worker. And in some states, your biological parents have to approve of that. They can't just take you on vacation. They can't just do things and make decisions for you. They have to have permission for all of that. So I know that can be really frustrating and that can be really hard, and it can be really easy to take those feelings out on your foster parents. But just understanding that we do have a lot of rules that we have to operate under, and we don't want to break any of those rules because we don't want to make anything worse. And also we don't want to get in trouble and not be able to be foster parents and help children anymore. So just trying to have understanding and work on your communication skills so that you can have open and honest communication with everyone around you, and you don't have to tell them everything. I mean, obviously you are welcome to your privacy. You don't have to talk about everything. You don't have to tell them everything, but they can't read your mind. So if there's something that you want or need, you are going to have to communicate that. So again, I really want it to be positive pieces of advice, but if you have had a negative experience, you are welcome to share that, but share it with advice on how to handle or avoid certain situations instead of just as like bashing people. I really don't want this to be a bashing anybody session. But yeah, feel free to leave all that down below. So if you're here trying to seek that kind of advice or information, make sure you're checking the comment section as well. Otherwise, I hope this helped. My Instagram DMs are open if you still feel like you need me. I am always here. I have to date responded to everyone who has DM'd me on Instagram and emailed me. Although again, email may take me a little bit longer, but to date, I have been able to respond to everybody. So if you need me, you are welcome to reach out. And otherwise, I wish you all the best. I send you all of my love, and you know, I'm here for you, and I'm thinking about you, and I love you, and you are strong, and you can do hard things. Until next time, go out and continue to shine your light into the world.